All right, time for another truth bomb, Bolling's uncensored truth bomb. This one's a little bit more esoteric. So for a long time, I've been saying this, and you follow my career, and you know, even from the first days at Fox, I've been saying this. You know, I was pro-Trump from the very beginning. I wanted an outsider. I wanted a businessman to come in because it was very, very evident to me, watching election after election, you know, George Bush to Clinton to Obama. It was like a football game. There was a wink and a nod in D.C. It's like, it's our ball now. We're Republicans. We got George Bush. Don't worry, it's going to be your turn soon enough. And sure enough, you know, then there's an Obama or there's a Clinton. And when it's Clinton, they're like, oh, you know, it's our ball in D.C. The whole group of them. There's hundreds of thousands of people who work for the government or are satellite attached to the government. Our budget is $7.2 trillion in 2025, just the U.S. federal spending. Now, on top of that, think about all the satellite economies that are attached to our one budget. You have lobbying, you have the oil companies lobbying, you have the health companies lobbying, you have every walk of life, every business, every industry in foreign countries lobbying. It's probably 10 or 20 times our budget. So it could be $100 trillion of economic activity that happens in DC. So when the Republicans are winning, they're happy, and the Democrats kind of like, okay, but you know, it's going to be our turn. When the Democrats are winning, Republicans are like, okay, we're going to get our turn too. Wink and a nod, smoke your cigars, go to your steakhouses, entertain each other, spend your $500, $1,000 bottles of wine. We get it. It's been like that for a long time. Incoming comes Trump. Trump is the disruptor. That's why I liked him from the beginning. He disrupted the wink and a nod, the old boy network. You know, think about the Roves and the Bushes and that whole Republican infrastructure. And then on the other side, you have the Clintons and the Obamas. You have the Bushes on the one side. They were all just taking turns, but in comes Trump and disrupts the whole thing. He spends 4 years there. And you wonder why they're making it so difficult for him to get reelected. Now, a lot of people think the 2020 reelection campaign, it was stolen from him because everyone in DC wanted Trump gone. And this is true. Think about it. The deep state, the 50 former FBI officials who signed a letter saying that the Hunter Biden laptop story was Russian disinformation. That's deep state, folks. That is just deep state. Think about the military complex that walks around DC, the Pentagon, massive building, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who work there or are attached to it somehow. Their livelihood is attached to it. They don't like the Trump who comes in here and says, no, we don't need foreign wars. We don't need almost $1 trillion a year spending, $1 trillion a year spending on our military. I agree with him. I agree with Trump. We don't need that. I'm obviously libertarian. I think we protect our borders. We don't need to spend this kind of insane money. But there are a lot of people whose livelihoods, whose families' well-being are attached to the military complex in D.C., and they hated Trump coming in, disrupting it. They liked it. They knew they would have a job. It wasn't their administration, it was the others, but our administration would get elected maybe the next time or the time after. So Trump is the disruptor, and this is what they had. Lifelong career politicians, military people just sucking off the government teat, and the teat is filled by you and me, the taxpayer, half the country. Like a football game, not unlike a football game. So this is why it's become so difficult for Trump this time around, because they didn't see him coming the first time. He surprised them all. He shocked the Clintons. He shocked the world. And he was the president. They got rid of him in 2020. They don't want him back. And just think about how the judicial system is being used like never before against any American citizen to get Trump. And then this. Josh Hawley made a remarkable announcement the other day on Jesse Waters' program. Listen.
Well, what I've heard tonight, Jesse, is that most of the agents who were there at that rally in Butler were not Secret Service agents. They were, in fact, Homeland Security agents. And get this, most of those Homeland Security agents, the only training that they received was an online webinar, a 2-hour online webinar. And I'm told that about half the time, the sound to the webinar didn't even work.
So I try not to be too conspiratorial. Turns out a lot of these conspiracy theories end up being true. This is scary, folks. If the U.S. Secret Service was either told to stand down protecting a former president, they're always always mandated to protect former presidents until the president dies. So if they were told to stand down so that the DHS, Homeland Security, with 2 hours training, some of these agents, 2 hours training were to protect the president, and they very, very suspiciously left a prime location as the former president as the target, just a perfect location to take that shot. Somehow that kid missed. By the grace of God, that kid missed. But I will tell you, for me, because Trump was a disruptor, he's despised by everyone in DC, and that's exactly why you and I should absolutely adore the idea of Trump 2.0. Tough truth bomb here, folks. It tells you we're not really in charge of anything that's going on. I hope I'm wrong. Unfortunately, I've been saying it a long time. I think I'm right. Bolling, truth bomb.